Welcome to episode 101 of the ABC GCI Coffee Break podcast. My name is Allison Jackson, here today with Mike Maloney. What's going on, Mike? How's it going?
Going great. Still picking up all my glitter and confetti that I shot off my cube last week for episode 100. It's everywhere. Still like on my desk here. It's all here. It's all my cube. But it's a good day. It's a beautiful day here. We're just getting done celebrating Thanksgiving, but a new month here means a new sponsor. And this month we are proud to have Kojo as our primary and presenting sponsor. Kojo is a software. It's a one-stop shop for purchasing and inventory. It's an all-in-one system for contractors to handle all of their material and inventory needs. You can learn more about it at usekojo.com. There'll be a guest here, I think it's next week on the podcast. And we're proud to have them. And then as the lightning round sponsor this month, we're talking about Gould Construction Institute. They are the training affiliate to the ABC Massachusetts and proud to offer training curriculum for the members and the non-members. So we're proud to have them. One thing we do want to highlight is that the Gould Construction Institute just got approval for their own brick and mortar schoolhouse, which is pretty exciting. History of ABC Mass and the Gould. They've always kind of wanted their own brick and mortar schoolhouse. So we're very happy to announce that. It'll be up in Barica. And the one thing they're highlighting is the daytime training model. So we're going to be really hoping to have more students sign up for the daytime training model. Nighttime training's not going anywhere. We understand there's a need for that as well, but we really think there's a bigger need for some daytime training.
Definitely. More options.
Right. Thanksgiving last week. How'd you do? I know we talked about it before we hit record, but I know that
first of all, I just want to do PSA. If you at this moment on Friday, on when will this drop? Friday or Monday?
Monday.
Okay, people. If on Monday, when you're listening to this episode, you still have leftovers in your fridge, just throw the Tupperware out.
Gone.
You can buy new Tupperware.
Goodbye.
Don't eat it. Do not eat it. The day we're recording this, you should throw this out, which is Wednesday, but you're not going to hear this until Monday. Ew, throw it out. You're going to get very, very sick. However, Thanksgiving was great. I hosted. It went great. My mom made the turkey. It was delicious. I made all the sides. They were great. I got a lot of my stuff at Wilson Farms.
Shout out to Wilson Farms.
Shout out to Wilson Farms. I'd never been there before. Carol from ABC, obviously. She actually told me about Wilson Farms from the apple cider donuts that we had at one of our events. That's where it was from. But then I also had heard about it from a previous roommate who got all of her produce there. So I went there, I checked it out. Oh my God, go there. This is not an ad, by the way. I did not mean to bring this up. It's in Lexington.
All right. So Lexington, Wilson Farms, but not a paid advertisement.
Not a paid ad. I love it there. But I got my stuffing there, just the dry mix, and then made it. And oh my God, it was so good. Better than stovetop. I never thought I'd say that because I love stovetop. Excuse me. But yeah, Mike and I were talking about, we had two very different mashed potato experiences this year. I personally made mashed potatoes for both my Thanksgiving Day and my Friendsgiving on Saturday. I hit it out of the park, I have to say. They were great. Everybody loved them. Everyone was saying they looked great. And then everyone said they tasted great too. So 2 for 2.
Recipe sounds amazing.
But do you want to talk a little bit about your experience and ordeal of what happened to you? If you're not watching, Mike's like shaking.
The great mashed potato incident of 2023. My wife is Italian. Her Italian family, they love to cook for the holidays. So we always cook like 300 people come to the house. I only have 10 or 15. We boiled potatoes Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. Get ready to mash them, put them in the pot. I get my emulsion blender out.
Hold on, before we go, what is it? Is it immersion or emulsion?
Immersion?
I've heard both. Because immersion is what I see online, but then I hear people say emulsion too.
The tool of death, because it almost murdered me and my marriage. I started blending this thing, right? I'm whacking it. I got butter, milk, the whole 9 yards, 10 pounds of potatoes. We're killing it. I'm loving life. I realized that the potatoes have become water. The immersion, emulsion, whatever it is, blended this thing into like liquid mashed potatoes. It was horrible. They weren't mashed, they were liquefied.
Like the instant mashed
Yeah.
potatoes in
Oh
the
yeah.
bag.
Yep. My wife had more butter. She's like, "What did you do?" I'm like,
Oh no.
I'm an idiot, I guess. So we throw the potatoes out. No big deal. I'll go Thursday morning and I'll find Matt. I'll find potatoes. No
Thursday
big deal.
morning, Thanksgiving morning, I'm gonna find potatoes.
Bingo. Yep. So leave 7 a.m. Thursday morning, drive around, right? Trying to find potatoes. I looked at Target, Walmart, Market Basket. I went to a place in town called Henry's in Beverly, right? Still nothing. I went to Shaw's, was closed. Everyone's closed. It's Thanksgiving Day, you moron. What are you doing? I found a little tiny market in Beverly called Woodbury. Shout out to Woodbury. They saved me.
Shout out
And I
Woodbury.
bought some potatoes. I bought potatoes. I bought toilet paper and paper towels. It cost me $50. So, note to self: two things. Don't let Mike touch the mashed potatoes on any of the holidays, because that's a good chance. But we always make literally all that food and it doesn't get eaten. You know,
Well,
people
you
have
have to have
us.
leftovers. The point is to have the plate the next day, the Thanksgiving sliders
Oh yeah,
and
yep.
Thanksgiving
Oh
sandwiches.
yep. We did that too. But we made two 20-pound turkeys. There's a lot of turkey meat there with two 20-pound turkeys. Right? It's a lot of stuffing and potatoes and right. But I'm glad it's over. We're on to the next one. We're on to the next holiday, which is the big Christmas. And you got decorations up in your house already?
Oh, both trees are up.
Yeah.
Both trees have been up since before Thanksgiving, which is very not like me. But one weekend I just had the time and I was looking at my calendar and I knew I wasn't going to have the time. So I just threw the trees up so that we could decorate them later on. One of them's decorated because that tree is my tree. It's my tree.
Your
And
tree.
I
That's
decorate it the way I want to decorate it. It's gorgeous and beautiful. I'll give you a picture, just remind me. But it's a black tree and it's all accented with like silver, gold, and blush pink, and it's amazing.
Wow.
The other tree is the
Jeez.
family tree, everyone's tree. It's green. It's like the big regular tree. My black tree is like a thinner one. It's very nice, but the green tree, it's the classic. It's decked out in red and green and all different colors, and it has all the family ornaments and all the fun ornaments and all that.
Here's a question. There's another dividing question for households. Do you start the lights at the top of the tree or the bottom of the tree?
Bottom, because I need to make sure that the plug reaches. So I plug it in first, I do the first round, and then I unplug it, hang it on a branch. So then I know that I have enough time. And then that way, if I need more, then I can just go grab more. But I have enough. I know I have enough this year.
It's been a constant argument in my house the last 20 years of marriages. Top down, bottom down. All right. So
Wait, what do you do?
I can't remember now.
Oh,
I'm getting old now. I can't remember. I want to say top down, plug in the angel, and then go around the tree.
See, I don't have an angel on top of my tree. I just have like a big star, but it doesn't light up. It's very sparkly, but it doesn't light up.
And then we have one tree, and then over 20 years of marriage, we've got crazy amount of ornaments. Do you have a favorite ornament you put on your tree? You ever make ornaments with the kids?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
A couple years ago we made ornaments. We like threw the paint and the glitter and shook them around and stuff. I have
Those
a
are
few
fun.
ideas of ones I want to make this year. Actually, I just got a few ornaments. What ones do I love to put on the tree?
Tough question.
I
Like
just
like as you set the tree up, you look for the ornament box. You're like, oh, it's my favorite ornament. Yeah, tree.
I do have this like gingerbread man doing a yoga pose that one of my friends gave me last year that I love. But actually at Joanne Fabrics, another unpaid ad, really, really generous this week. They were doing buy one, get three free for ornaments. Buy one, get three free. You heard that right.
Buy one.
Stupid. They're giving them away. I had to, so I got one for like $12.99 and the rest of them were all of equal or lesser value. So one of them I got is really cool. It's like the shell of a walnut. It's like big. It's like maybe 5 inches. It's the shell of a walnut and inside it's like little mushrooms growing. It's very earthy. That's going on my tree.
Oh my God.
And then I got like another yoga one. And there's also like very cool. There's ones of all different kinds. So check out Joanne's Fabrics for your ornaments this holiday season as well, if Christmas is your holiday.
All right. So this week's guest is a good one. His name is Girard, and he works for a company called Brattan. me bring up his email quick. He works for Brattan Industries Electrical Services, and they are out of Littleton, Massachusetts. He's a project manager. And I'm not going to say how I know Chris Girard. I'm going to wait to talk about it on the podcast, but I've known him for a long time. We'll talk about it in the podcast, so check it out. It's my pleasure to welcome to the podcast Mr. Chris Girard. Chris, welcome to the podcast. It's been a long time coming. Been chasing you down for a while, and you finally succumbed to the begging and the pleading to be on the podcast. Welcome to the podcast.
Mike, thanks for having me. Yeah, I think we were supposed to do this about a couple months ago, but I think I said that you weren't worthy till you hit 100 episodes. So congratulations on that, first and foremost.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
Happy to be here, excited for it, and it should be a good time.
First episode, this is episode 101, so you're in the next phase here, season 3, we're hoping. But for those that don't know who Chris is the project manager for Brattan Industries Electrical Services. And Chris, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us about yourself and what you do for Brattan.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. So my name is Chris Girard. Brattan Industries. We're based here in Littleton, Mass. I am a project manager here, so we all kind of manage projects. I'm also responsible for field personnel, operations, things like that. So I oversee a lot of our manpower, a lot of our recruiting efforts. I have a pretty heavy focus on our operation down in Connecticut as well. So we have we're about 200 employees strong between Mass and Connecticut. So we have a pretty heavy focus on commercial, heavy industrial sectors like that. But good family-owned business here. Nancy and Bob Brattan are the owners. They've owned the company for about 20 years. Great people. Great crew of guys here. We have a lot of guys that have been here 30, 40 years, and just a wealth of knowledge that they have to share. And you always keep learning from people like that.
That's great. It's always good to hear that the type of culture is being built at the company. And how did you get into being a project manager? Because it's not something that it's something you fell into.
There's too many 8-year-old kids going to Halloween in 4th grade saying I'm going to be an electrical project manager, right?
That's right.
I got blue collar in my blood for sure. My father was in the trade. He's an electrician, HVAC guy, and actually, so my biological father's an HVAC guy. My stepfather's an electrician, and I just got the bug early on. Going to work with dad and sitting on the milk crate in the corner type thing, and don't touch anything. And as it progressed from there, I had an opportunity to go on to vocational high school. I went to North Shore Tech, which was in Middleton at the time. It's now Essex Tech, which is in Danvers. But great program there. Chris Exeris was my teacher, along with Jim Smith, two outstanding individuals. Chris Exeris is still there, still teaching the next wave of electricians come out of the school. We're fortunate enough to actually have a couple here on our staff, so it's really nice to kind of be able to give back in that sense. But after high school, I had an opportunity. I went on to college. I went on to Merrimack College. Ended up getting a degree in business from there. And I continued to work full-time while I was doing that. And then after I graduated, I had an opportunity with another local company to go into the office as an assistant estimator. And I was fortunate enough to climb the ladder pretty quickly up to project manager. And from there, I moved on to operations manager and the position that I'm in here today.
Now, in vocational school you went to, how many years of electrical did you do?
So obviously high school's 4 years. So your freshman year, you do your exploratory. So you have a week in every shop. And then you go back and you pick your top 3 or 4 shops, I believe. And then from there, you re-explore them, and then you make your final decisions. So your freshman year, you're getting probably 4 months of actual electrical training. But from there on, from your sophomore year through your senior year, you're in shop every other week. I was fortunate enough, I went on co-op as soon as I was eligible. I did my co-op with the Craney companies in Danvers, which is a throwback for people from the North Shore. They know that about them.
Yep.
And it was a great opportunity, and vocational schooling is something I'm extremely passionate about. I'm sure we'll touch on that, but it's just such a great part of our public education system that we have, and it's something that I can't emphasize how excited I get about it.
Now, what was it about the estimating side of the business that, and we say this to some of the students too, when we go talk to high school or middle school kids, we want to get in the construction world, and people raise their hands. And the construction world doesn't just mean swinging a hammer or pulling wire. There's the whole other side is the project management side. And, if you're good at math, maybe it's an estimating thing. So you can still be involved in the construction world and not be swinging a hammer and carrying plywood and climbing roofs, stuff like that. What was it about the estimating side that you really enjoyed?
So I actually had no intention of ever going to the estimating side, to be brutally honest with you. So when I first started getting towards my end of my college career, and I knew that I was going to I wanted to go and find a job in the industry in some sort of management role. I knew I wanted to be some sort of manager. I didn't exactly know what the position looked like at the time, but project manager was also my end goal. I was fortunate enough, right out of college, I went work for a company right down the road, actually from here in Chelmsford, MEC Electric. And Bill Lemos gave me an opportunity there. And when I went and interviewed with him, and he said, what do you want to do? I kind of gave him a brief synopsis of what I envisioned for myself. He goes, oh, so you want to be a project manager? I said, yeah, that sounds like a pretty cool title. Why not, right? He said, I'll make you a deal. He goes, you cannot be a good estimator. You cannot be a good project manager unless you understand how the estimating process works. And that is something he said to me 7 years ago, sitting in the conference room at Stedman Street, the old office, and it has stuck with me ever since. And he is 100% right about that, that if you do not understand how the estimating process works and how you get to those final numbers that you award the contract off of, then you can't truly be a good project manager. So I did the estimating thing for about a year. And then, there were just, naturally as things happen, and especially in some smaller companies, you kind of wear many hats. And eventually I kind of found myself more in the PM role, which is really what got me excited. And I was able to kind of take it from there.
Now, what about the PM side? Do you like? Because you kind of touched upon like the PM side, but your operations, it's kind of everything together. What about the PM side do you like the most?
So the PM side is just different, is exciting because it's different every day. I think the part that gets me excited is there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that you don't realize. And I think for people, especially that aren't in the construction industry, you walk on a large construction site, right? And it's easy to see the construction happening, right? It's easy to see people swinging hammers. It's easy to see people putting up pipe. It's easy to see people putting rebar on the ground, pouring concrete, putting the windows in. But what a lot of people from the outside looking in don't realize is how much work, time, and effort went into getting to that point. You don't realize you're watching a guy drop a 2x2 light fixture into a ceiling grid. You don't realize that light fixture went through 17 rounds of submittals to get to that final end product. And for me, that's really the most exciting part for me, is seeing these projects go from a set of plans that I'm looking at on my computer or on my desk and actually turn into a tangible product at the end of the day.
What was one of your favorite projects you ever worked on, if you can talk about it?
Yeah, so I probably would go back to MEC when I first started with that company back then, and it was Lowell General Hospital, Circle Health, Loon Hill Road in Dracut, and it was a 3-story medical office building. They had some day surgery rooms, some X-ray, some outpatient things like that. That was with Delbrook Construction, probably about 6 years ago, and that was kind of the first job that I had worked on as the lead manager. I guess I had some other senior project managers kind of overseeing me and guiding me. But that was really the first opportunity I had to kind of be the shot caller. And, I was, the first one copied on the emails and things like that. And that really got me excited.
What was some takeaways you took from that very first project, you think, that kind of rolled into the rest of your career here?
My first takeaway was I had no idea what I was doing. And I don't think anybody ever really does, right? But it was an incredible learning experience. It really was, just to be able to kind of go in and, I think you learn the best from failing, right? And I think that, there's a right way and a wrong way to fail. It's going to happen. It's inevitable, right? But I think that as long as you learn from it, that's the most important thing. I think the biggest thing I probably took away from it was just double check. You can't rely on other people to kind of do their job for you. Follow up, double check, double check. And that's just kind of one of those things.
It's a saying, right? Especially management, inspect what you expect. That's a pretty buzzwordy management stuff, right? It's a pretty buzzwordy thing to say, inspect what you expect. If you had to give some advice to someone who wanted to get into the project management position, where would you tell them to start, I guess?
Yeah, so I mean, it's different. I think that especially for project managers in the construction industry, I mean, what a project manager today looks like has changed significantly, I think, in the last 15, 20 years, where you have a lot of people who are coming out of school that have degrees in construction management. Construction management degrees are, it's a relatively new concept. And I think that has really changed the industry. You used to see a lot of project managers where guys that were out in the field, they were foremen, they kind of aged out of the field, or they kind of couldn't hack it being in the field anymore. So they kind of move into the office. But it's not like that anymore. And I experienced that a lot, especially when I first started out as a PM, where I was 23 years old when I really started running projects on my own. I would, go to these job trailers and sit down with, some of the biggest names in the industry and some of the biggest players at these sub meetings. And I'm looking around and going, oh my God, I'm the youngest guy in here by 20 years, But it's the industry has certainly evolved. I think the project management aspect has evolved. But as far as anybody that's trying to get into it, just always ask the right questions, always be willing to learn, and just kind of, find out what you want your trajectory to look like and just follow it and run with it.
Now, what are some changes maybe that you've seen in the job? Like, what that stand out to you? What are from when you started to where you are now? What are some of the biggest changes in the field?
I think the technology piece is huge right now, and I mean it's absolutely incredible what we are able to do today with the BIM, the 3D modeling, the Navisworks. We had an opportunity on a project about a year ago. It was 150,000 square foot medical research facility. And we were able to go in and do the full 3D BIM with the Navisworks. You put on the Oculus Rift glasses. It's incredible. You can literally walk through the entire building and you can, see a conflict that receptacle is going to conflict with that water fountain right there. And it's just, I think that's a big, big portion of it. That's going to be the next big thing. I think that's really going to start getting pushed, where I think everyone's going to have in-house CAD, everyone's going to have in-house BIM, 3D modeling, and that's just, it's the way of the future. And it's unbelievable how many conflicts you avoid by doing this ahead of time.
Do you come across a lot of people that still do things the old-fashioned way with pen and paper?
Yeah, so I mean, you know what, and some guys are tried and true, and I mean, you meet some of the old timers that's just, it's quote unquote the way we've always done it. And you know what, for those guys, I mean, there's certainly a place for them, and if that's the way they've done it for 30, 40 years, why change it at this point? When I first started estimating, the estimator I worked under, Chuck Dolan, first thing he gave me was a set of plans printed out, a pack of highlighters, and a pitch clicker to go through and count light fixtures. And he said, that's how I learned to do it. That's how you're going to do it. Meanwhile, obviously, we have access to, some of the best estimating software in the world now. We'll go through and pretty much do the takeoff for you. But again, it goes back to kind of the fundamentals and really making sure that you understand why you're doing what you're doing and how you're doing what you're doing.
I was involved in a project a couple of years ago for a guy I work with. The architect was coming by the building to check something, and he literally rolls out his paper plans, and he's got his mechanical pencil and his architect scale, and he literally was erasing and drawing walls and putting things. He said, "What do you want that wall over here? Cool, yeah, I'll do that now. Erase. Pencil." I said, "It's not gonna go back and put it in your computer." He goes, no, we do everything the old-fashioned way. This guy was 100 years old and literally was just pen, paper, mechanical pencil, and a scale, which is old school, right? People just
and I get it. I mean, for 100 years, that's how they did it, right? And I mean, the job somehow got done. But I think with going back to the technology portion, is the projects move a lot quicker today. I feel like the communication is at the tip of your finger. So I think that you really have to be able to keep up with that in order to maintain.
And now that you have all this technology at your fingertips, you kind of wonder how they built a business or built a building 20 years ago.
It blows my mind. And, I look at some of these projects we work on and you're like, oh, well, here's ASI 37. And, you're 2 months into the job. It's like, how in the world did they coordinate this back in the day?
But like any business nowadays, right? How do they run a business right now? You can check email on your phone. You can, if you own a business, you're running your business from, you could be on the beach, you could be in the mountains, you could be on a boat, you could be in your car, you can be, in the office, you can be, it's amazing what you can do, whether it be sending emails, sending quotes. There's a ton of software out there you can put on your phone, a tablet, a computer. You said you can check the progress of a job from the comfort of your living room. In the old days, it was, 5 o'clock, you went home on a Friday and you picked it back up on Monday night at, Monday in the morning, 8 a.m. Right.
Well, and for me, that's actually the exciting part now. So, we have access to technology that, I don't think we ever could have fathomed 15 years ago. Right. So like Procore, for example, right. I mean, everybody uses Procore. I mean, if you aren't using Procore, I don't know what you're doing. Right. Or something similar to that. But what I get excited about is seeing some of these foremen who were up and comers is, I'll get a text from some of them at 6, 7 o'clock at night. Hey, I'm sitting on the couch tonight, just open up the iPad, laptop, scrolling through Procore. Did you notice on E301, Note 7, stuff like that? And it's true. I mean, it gives these guys the opportunity where, it might be 7, 8 o'clock at night. The kids are in bed. They're sitting on the couch with their wife or husband or whatever and watching TV. And they might open up the iPad and scroll through the drawings for 20 minutes, a half hour. And they might catch something that they missed earlier in the day. And I think that's a really big benefit of it, too.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. So we kind of tease this in my intros with the pod squad, the rest of the people that we do the podcast with here, but you do have a special guest with you today in the room with you. Let's see the special guest and then how that
actually know each other.
Hey, how it connects the two of us together. This is going to be a good story here.
Hey, come here. So this is my dog, Brimble.
There he is, a little Brimble buddy.
He is a 3-year-old retriever, and he is pretty much my best friend. He comes in here every day to the old Brattan office, and we're actually very fortunate. Brenda, who's our office manager, been at the company for 30 years. She takes him on a 2-mile walk every day, and he loves him like nothing else. So he is named Brimble after Brimble Avenue, which is where I grew up in Beverly. And Michael, I believe you grew up, or you lived not far from there.
So the connection that Chris and I have is that many years ago, I had the privilege of coaching young Chris Girard, Beverly Babe Ruth baseball, and then he moved on to with a Little League and then Babe Ruth. So that's the connection that Chris and I have. And a couple of years ago, I saw his name pop up at the golf tournament. I said, "There's no way it's the real same Chris Girard. There's no way it's impossible." And it is the same Chris Girard. And I was tickled pink to know that Mr. Girard was going to be there. Coaching him was amazing. He comes from an amazing family, mom and dad. I mean, just it gives me kind of goosebumps just thinking about it because I enjoyed coaching him and his brother, and that group of kids was awesome. And I tried.
Your son Jonathan was the same age as. So I have a twin brother. So Jonathan's the same age as Brandon and I, and you guys lived maybe 3/4 of a mile down Rimble. You guys lived on Herrick Street.
Maybe, yeah.
So it was one of those things. I'll never forget the day I walked into Pine Hills and I turned around and I said, "Oh my God, that's Mike Maloney." And it just blew me away. It blew me away. It really did. And just a real quick shout out to you guys too for the golf tournament. We played a lot of golf tournaments, throughout the summer, different vendors, different hosts, things like that. By far, the ABC is by far the creme de la creme of the golf tournaments. And I mean, everybody I know talks about it. I mean, that is the benchmark for everything.
I love it. And then, so the Babe Ruth and the baseball stuff, I had such a good time coaching you guys when you guys were kids, right? That was like 10, 11, 12, 13, right? Around that age, right? I coached for a couple of years, Babe Ruth. I took a break for a little bit because it was getting to the point where I just couldn't do it anymore, right? And my middle son wanted to play Babe Ruth, so I coached him for a year or two, and the kids just weren't the same, right? You guys just had something, man. You guys, were you unbelievable baseball players? No. You just love the game.
We won a championship though.
We did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, I did. Right. And I meant to bring it with me today, but I'll take a picture of it. I do have an autographed baseball from Chris Girard.
So with the whole team signed that ball, and actually I have something too. I'll share with you.
Oh no.
Oh, you disabled the screen sharing, but
I can share. You want to do it? I'll do it. You want to do it?
Go ahead.
Let's see here. Come on.
While you're doing that too, though, I just want to say, so I went back and I actually fact checked myself on this today. So I don't know why this sticks out in my head, Mike, and it always has, but June 25th, 2009, Michael Jackson died.
Oh, yeah.
We were playing a game at Balch Baseball Field in Beverly.
Wow.
And I remember Brewster came out to the pitcher's mound, stopped the game, and had us all come to the mound. And I remember you said, and I never forget this, it's stuck on my head.
I hope it's a good thing.
No, it is. And you said to us, he goes, "Guys, I just want you to take a moment right now." He goes, "In your life, there are certain events in history that will always stick out in your mind." And you said for your parents, it was the Challenger. At that age, we were 5 years old when 9/11 happened. And I remember you said, "This is a moment in history that you'll remember for the rest of your life, the day that Michael Jackson died."
Wow. I said that?
Yeah, you did. It was very poetic.
What had it been drinking? Was I throwing back a couple
I don't know. There was a lot of red Solo cups going around at this game. I'm not 100% sure on what exactly was happening.
Oh my God. There it is.
So there it is. I'd be interested, Mike, in how many of these players you can name.
I know Tim Anderson's in there.
Tim Anderson's in there.
Oh God, Tim Anderson's in there. The guy on the left, his father Lorenzano.
Yeah, Dominic Lorenzano, all 4 feet of him.
Yep. Let's see here. Your brother's in there. I can't remember everybody's name. It's been such a long
Jay
time.
Richardson.
Jay Richardson, I remember.
Jimmy McNeely. He was a North Beverly kid.
Which one's he?
He is all the way to the right next to my brother.
And then the kid in the back, I had him.
That's Dan Crawl.
To Crawl. Yep. He was my to this day, he was my in Little League, he was my dandelion picker out in right field. Famous for picking dandelions.
Yes.
I love picking
and then
dandelions.
the kid behind my brother, Jordan something.
Guys, I remember all these names, man. That was a good old Cleveland Indians.
That was a good year. We had a really good year that year.
It was great. But I do have the autographed baseball. I could put it on eBay if you want. I'll sell it to you.
Yeah, you have to send me a picture of that. I haven't seen. I have that. 15 years since
I did it every year. I did it every single year. I'm thinking about bringing those indoor because I have some balls back there signed by. I got a Wade Boggs ball back there. I got a Dick Barandino ball. Was a third base coach for the Sox a couple times.
Yeah, but are any of them as valuable to you as the ones that we had?
Oh, God, no. My Little League balls they're in a special place in on the shelf here. But all right, that's Chris Girard. Listen, I don't know how many people I can say this, but I love coaching you. A special place in my heart. You and your brother. Your brother was my hookup at the AT&T store for many years.
Yes, he was.
And, I'm so glad to know that you're part of the ABC family. But now comes everybody's favorite part of the podcast. It's going to be the lightning round. Rapid fire questions. Tip of your tongue stuff. No passes allowed. I'm going to talk to you like a coach now. No passing allowed. If you had any superpower, what would it be and why?
I'd have to say the ability to fly, because who wouldn't want to be able to fly, just take off and just go?
That's it. Love it. Which band or artist, dead or alive, would play at your funeral?
Oh, I'm a big Luke Combs guy, so I'd really like to have him there.
Oh, Luke Combs. That's no one's ever said that before. Would you rather always be slightly late or super early?
Oh, always super early. If I'm not 15 minutes early, you're late. And if you're late, you're running, right?
That's it. Mr. Girard, I miss those days, buddy. I miss those days. Would you rather live where it only snows or the temperature never falls below 100 degrees?
No, baby. Let it snow. I hope we get 1,000 inches of snow a year. I love every second.
Would you rather be an Olympic gold medalist or an astronaut?
I'm going to have to go astronaut.
What is your favorite dessert?
Oh, I'm a big chocolate lava cake guy. If there's a chocolate lava cake in the menu, bet your bottom dollar I'm ordering that.
Favorite tradition or holiday?
I'm a big Thanksgiving guy. It's a real 4-day weekend, and it was incredible, and especially just coming off of it, I love it.
Worst job you ever had?
Oh, I'd say probably my first job, and really my only job outside of industry, and that was Not Your Average Joe's in North Beverly. Washing dishes when I was like 14 years old, and then I got a job at Craney, and then my parents still wouldn't let me quit the Not Your Average Joe's job, so I was doing both at the same time. But yeah, I hated it.
Let's see here. If you could donate $1 million to any charity, what would it be?
Oh, I'd probably do Big Brother Big Sister.
If you could add anyone to Mount Rushmore, who would it be and why?
Add anyone to Mount Rushmore. That's a great one. And I'm going to say you, Mike, just because you're in front of me right now.
Man, I love it. God, I love it. Let's see here. If you had your own late night talk show, who would you invite as your first guest?
I'd invite you at this point.
Man, you're killing it today. Wow, this is my favorite guest ever, Chris Girard. Favorite guest ever. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
I had a venti iced coffee, and I got a bacon Gouda sandwich on the way in.
And then we usually ask, because it's the Coffee Break podcast, how do you like your coffee, and where do you normally get your coffee from?
So I'm a snob. I won't even sniff at a Dunkin' Donuts or a McDonald's for that matter.
Wow.
Starbucks all the way through. Just a venti latte, regular. If I'm feeling dangerous, I'll get some of the seasonal ones. Actually, this morning I had a gingerbread latte that was incredible. So.
Oof. All right, so that's Chris Girard, project manager for Brattan Industries Electrical Services. Can't thank him enough for being on. A little good time. Glad you came on. If somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they do it?
They can reach out to us through the website, brattan.net. They can reach out to me, cgerard@brattan.net. I'm all over LinkedIn. I'm a big LinkedIn guy, Mike. I know you and I connect on there pretty frequently.
Yep.
So I always love to share. I always love kind of sharing what we're doing as a company and what I got going on the side as well and stuff like that, vocational training and things like that. So any way you can, always happy to talk.
And real quick, baseball wise, was I so hard on you that I ever made you cry? Did you want to go home and just cry?
I
Couple
don't think
couple
I ever
times.
wanted to cry. No, no, I don't think I ever wanted to cry. I'll say this though, Mike, you were a great coach. You really were. You really were.
We kept it fun though, didn't we? We had a good
We
time.
did. We did.
That was it. And I try to capture that lightning in a bottle with other teams, and I just
Well, you got to remember, you were 15 years younger back then
oh
too.
god,
Right?
yeah. Oh man. Man, I tried, but it wasn't working out. All right,
Walking
Chris
around with a
Girard.
Marine tad and everything.
Yeah, people don't care about that anymore. They were looking at me like this guy's lost his mind. But I was okay being a little crazy back in the day, but that was the way it was. All right, Chris
Get on
Girard,
with it.
appreciate being on.
Thanks, Mike.
It was great having Chris Girard on the podcast with us. For those listening again, I have known him since he was a little boy. I coached him playing Little League Baseball with my son. It was amazing to bump into him at the golf tournament a couple of years ago and see him again as a full-grown man. It's just weird to me to see him like that. He's got a family. He was by far one of my most favorite kids out there. His family was great. Him and his brother were great. So thanks to Chris Girard for being on. I appreciate that. It's been a long time coming. It warms my heart to have him on because he's just, someone near and dear to my heart. So thanks to Chris Girard for that. Year's coming to an end, but still lots going on at GCI. What do we got for upcoming trainings?
Yeah, so it's December, which is crazy. That really flew by.
Yeah.
So this week, starting December 6th, and also on the 13th, we have a crew leader class at the ABC Mass GCI Woburn office. December 9th, we have a sheet metal prep for exam class. And then hoist 1C2A continuing education is going to be on December 9th as well. And then there is a sprinkler fitter prep for exam and a sheet metal prep for exam. The first is on December 16th. Sheet metal again will be on January 20th, 2024. You can check out all of these classes and the rest of the classes that we have on the schedule through January 2024 at gwgci.org/events.
And now comes everybody's favorite part of the podcast. It is time for the news, and the news this week is brought to you by Kenny and Sam's and Patriot Benefit Services. This information comes directly from the newsletter that gets sent out every week from communications@abcma.org. If you're not getting that email, let us know. But the featured news of the week is that ABC opposes a walk-around rule, and associated bills and contractors submitted remarks in opposition to the proposed rule by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration regarding the worker walk-around representative designation process. This rule suggests permitting employees to opt for a third-party representative, including external union representatives or community organizers, to accompany OSHA safety inspectors during site inspections in non-union workplaces. You can read more about that in the newsletter or the blog. We're excited to announce that the open house will be next week, December 7th, taking place at the Woburn office from 5 to 7:30. It's a great time to see people, again, network with the members. There'll be some food, there'll be some drinks, there'll be some music. We'd love to have everybody there. So please reach out to Carol at abcma.org if you'd like to attend. And we've got some other events coming up, such as a webinar taking place on December 6th, Wednesday, December 6th from 8 to 9. It's called the U.S. DOL's Comprehensive and Sweeping Davis-Bacon Rule Changes and What They Mean to Contractors. Again, any of these events, you can reach out to Carol at abcma.org. Then we've got Erland completes ice rink renovation at the Fessenden School over in Newton. Congratulations to Erland. And then pretty much it. Last week was our 100th episode. Got some great feedback from people. You can reach out to me, Mike at gwgci.org, if you would like to be on the podcast. What do you got?
Before we go, we're recording this. You have Spotify, I'm assuming, right?
Yep.
Well, it's Spotify Wrapped Day. Did you know that? Today's
not know.
Spotify Wrapped Day.
I'm going to look that up. I had a good time with that last year. It was pretty good. We learned a lot of great stuff. And I had a lot of people reach out after the 100th episode aired. People were, 100 episodes, a pretty big milestone for a podcast to hit for 100 episodes. So shout out to everyone that was involved, all the sponsors that came out and helped us out. It was great. We got some big things planned for 2024.
Yeah, if we're on your Spotify Wrapped, send it to us, and maybe we'll send you something.
Ooh, that's a good
Maybe
idea.
we will. Maybe we will.
Awesome. All right.
But maybe we'll talk about that next week. Look at your Spotify Wrapped, and then we can compare notes. Well, Kayla do it too if she has it.
All right. Like, tag, share, follow. We've got a YouTube channel. We're on Instagram. We're on LinkedIn. There's lots of ways to connect with us. We'd love to have you. If you're listening to the podcast and you want to be a guest, please reach out, mike@gwgci.org. We would love to have you, and we'll see you next week. See ya. Attention passengers. We've now reached our destination. We hope you enjoyed the flight and have a nice day.